Hi everybody, it's Barrett with BarrettIndependent.com. You guys know that because I'm here all the time. However, who is not here all the time is Kristen and Jason from the Demand Project, and we are here this weekend and a couple more weekends after this, helping them get this facility spun up so that you guys can do what you do, which is not what we do. What you do is you help put people back together again after the evil of this world has broken them. Not my skill set, your skill sets. So I was hoping that you could tell our viewership what you do and how you do it and why you do it, and help them better understand that when we leave, your work is really just beginning here. And maybe paint a picture of what it is that you're trying to accomplish, so that if they feel led, they might be in a position to pray for you, support you, assist you, so forth and so on. So now you know what I look like. So I'm going to move this way a little bit. There we go, so that they can hear you. Okay. And tell them who you are, what you do, and how you got here.
So I'm Kristen, and I'm co-founder and CEO, because it's higher than him, and of the Demand Project, and he would be the president and the co-founder. And we started this, the journey started back in 2004 when we were living in Colorado, and we heard a news story about a dad that had raped his 2-year-old little girl, and he videotaped the crime, and then he put it on the internet for people to watch. And the internet was extremely young at the time, so there's nothing we could do to track IP addresses, an IP address to find this guy and what he did to his baby girl. And it was the last moment of that we heard that thousands of people logged on to watch. And they didn't log on to watch to find and rescue, recover, restore this little girl. They watched it for the sexual pleasure of it. And that's what launched us into a whole new world, where it was going to take us out of all our comfort zones. We were going to have to tell our family that life is now different. We're doing something else. And of course, they all thought we were going to go into a cult. And because why would any two people with small children dive into a battle like this and look for danger? So it launched us into the mission field quite abruptly, and we ended up in Tulsa, Oklahoma, going to Bible school to get spiritually trained up so that we didn't kill anybody, didn't get killed, and we could do what we do knowing what battle we were truly fighting, the spiritual battle. Anything else?
Yeah.
So we worked to help get a couple of other organizations up and running. We got on a national level. We're helping 40 cities around the nation understand and identify what this is, what was happening, who was doing it, who were the victims. And then in 2013, we decided to step away from everything and start our own, because we didn't feel like everything was being addressed from the prevention, and that's actually going and speaking to the potential at-risk victims and teaching and helping them to understand how to not become a victim, and talking to parents about their responsibility as a parent and keeping their kids safe online, and speaking to churches and businesses in the community on how to identify it when you're in your own sphere of influence and when you're out and about. You know, if you see something, what are you going to do about it? So we wanted to hit that really hard, but then we also wanted the legislation. Jason became a cyber investigator quite some time ago, trained by Homeland Security. So he's really focused on going after who creates the demand, the ones that are the consumers, the ones buying the kids for sex. So if there was no demand,
well, hold on,
there wouldn't be a need for supply.
Agreed. I don't think most people realize the degree to which the demand exists. It literally can be somebody places an order. I want a 9-year-old blonde-headed boy with blue eyes. Like you say, I need 200 2x4s, or I'm gonna order a case of 5.56 ammo. It's the same thing. And It's perverted and disgusting, and I hate it. And I didn't realize that it was like that.
Yeah.
And that story that you tell of that 2-year-old girl is gut-wrenching to me. Like, it's disgusting, and it's absolute wickedness. And like I said, my skill set is not dealing with that. There's only one way I know how to deal with that. And so I'm glad that we can assist you in that. Jason, you work on the prevention aspect of it.
Yes.
Can you speak to that a little bit? Like when you go and talk to kids about this stuff?
Right. We felt that prevention was extremely important
Number one.
because if we can stop them from becoming a victim, then we've done a major victory in this whole thing.
And we can be proactive.
Right, and to equip parents is one thing that I'm really, really passionate about. So we talk to them about social media, do's and don'ts of social media, apps to be on the lookout for.
Give them a couple.
Some of the grooming and luring techniques that predators use. Kick and Whisper are big apps that are something that should be really concerned about. And the newest one coming out is TikTok. But we felt prevention was super, super important because it's proactive. And we can stop kids from making bad choices and getting groomed into something that can be potentially dangerous for them.
Because everything else we do is reactive. I mean, this is the only proactive thing in what we do is the prevention side. Because I feel like parents they're so concerned with penis and vagina.
Right.
Like saying those words. You know, and if you're not talking to your kids and you can't even say those words, I guarantee you somebody else is going to show them what they want them to know if you're not telling them. So we feel armoring them with the whole full armor of protection is the most important thing that we do. So Jason was trained by Homeland Security to become a cyber investigator. So he's a 14-year-old little girl online, and that's how he goes after online enticement. We do intersect from online enticement to child trafficking, but they're two different crimes normally.
Right.
Yeah.
And so you have the education and prevention side of it. And then you have the prosecution side of it. And then you have a facility like Bethany House. Can you tell the viewership what precisely Bethany House does and how that contributes to the overall program up here?
Yeah. So I had gotten my private investigator training, and I wanted to do that so that I could help in the recovery and the rescue of at-risk kids. So I started working with DHS, probation, Homeland Security, Vice, different various elements. And we started learning that a lot of our kiddos were in the detention center. And they were in the detention center because of petty crimes and sometimes bigger crimes that they were trained to commit as the product in this whole business plan. Like, you put it in perspective like a business plan. So you've got the owner, trafficker, pimp, uncle, mom, whoever's running this whole deal, whoever's selling these kids. Then you've got a consumer that comes in to buy the product. So you got to have the product, and that could be a 10-year-old, a 5-year-old, a 12-year-old, a 15-year-old, a 30-year-old, whatever it looks like. And so when I started finding these kids in detention, they were in there for these crimes. So they're different than domestic violence because they are lured and groomed, they're drugged, they're addicted to love, addicted to drugs, and then they're trained to become a criminal element, and they go out and sell themselves as if that's who they are and what they're supposed to do. And there are consequences if they don't do it. There are beatings, there's manipulations, there's withholding children from there, withholding their basic needs, food, whatever it is. So when I found out these kids that are going through hell every single day and servicing 15 men, women every single day, and yet they're in detention centers, it was mind-blowing. And there should be something like drug court where there's an alternative program. So I started helping to do that rescue, going on undercover operations. And what you do is you get them out, you do an interview, and then you do an intake process, and then you find the resources that they need. So that was all non-residential until we were donated 54 acres with 9 buildings. And then we could actually bring it into a campus. So the Bethany Center is going to be where we assess, right hot off the street, a victim is recovered, and we do assessments and an intake and figure out what this child or young adult needs, from drug rehab or mental health, physical health. Obviously, a serial raped body is going to need physical help. So we find out what all this person needs, this victim of all these crimes against them, and then we either facilitate them out or we bring them up to our campus, but it all happens at Bethany. It's the staging point for
ground zero.
recovery.
That's the starting
Ground
point.
zero.
I love it. And then so from Bethany, you have this facility up here,
Yes.
and you were telling us that it's the largest facility in North America,
In the United States.
in the United States, for this type of thing,
Yeah.
and that's incredible. And then you told me there's only how many beds in the entire United
In
States?
the whole United States for minors, underage girls and boys, and adults, there's less than 400 beds.
Less than 400 beds.
100 for minors.
And only 100 for underage people.
Only 100
that
for
are
minors.
specific to human trafficking.
And
issues.
you have how many beds here?
We will add 60
You'll add
to
60
that
beds.
100 beds.
Significant.
And I want to stress, though, to her, it's not just places, or stress to your audience,
Yeah.
it's not just a place to come and sleep.
No.
I mean, there's going to be counselors,
Yes.
therapists, mentors, caseworkers,
Life skill
school. I mean, they're going to
coaches.
come here and live, but they're also going to get an education. They're also going to get an opportunity to realign what was ripped from them by the
Amen.
devil. And so they're going to be able to get focused back on their track that they were purposed for.
Right.
And so because we don't want people to come up here and go through a program and feel like, okay, we made it. We want entrepreneurs. We want
Results.
lawyers. We want doctors. We want the cops. We want people that come up here to find their purpose, and we want to help them get there.
Yeah.
I think that's awesome. It's a lot like what I do with consulting. I do a lot of business consulting, but business starts with the person running the business.
Yeah.
I don't just fix the business. I've got to fix the person running the business, and so I relate to all of that. And I'm glad you brought that up, because I don't think people understand the fullness of what you're trying to do here. And you've said several times, Kristen, that you just wrap around these kids. And I think that's a great way to explain in a short series of words the intense approach that you have to what you're trying to do.
Yeah.
How can people stay up to date with what you're doing here? Where do they find y'all?
They can go to our Facebook page. That's where a lot of updates are. Our Demand Project Facebook page. And then also, if you email us
Okay.
through the website, thedemandproject.org, and you sign up to be on the newsletter, we send out a newsletter every month as well. So we'll be talking about Grindstone coming out. We'll be talking about updates that we have. We have a gala that's coming up in March. We have a golf tournament in June.
Okay.
So there's always things that are happening. But the ways that we really need people to get involved is time, money, and resources.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's how it is. Wherever that fits in your life, in your sphere of influence. If you know a millionaire, we'd love to talk to them.
Yeah.
If you have a painter, if you have, just anybody that wants to donate time, come out here and make an impact, we're willing to talk to you.
Because there's so many ways, like back to what TJ was saying, is Bethany is a crisis intervention wraparound services, and on their way to their journey to freedom. That's our program name. And then our restoration is that journey program. And so we have all sorts of ways, mentors, therapists, case managers, that can come and have direct care with the kiddos. And then we have life skill coaches. They need to learn how to change a tire on a car, change oil.
Balance of the checkbook.
Yeah, one time I was asking for an architect on the news, and this architect is like, nobody ever asked for an architect. He became so strategic in getting this fire inspected. I didn't know I was going to need one. I just wanted him to design a salon for us.
Right.
And he ended up being the savior for the fire inspections. And he's like, whoever needs an architect. And so like Jason said, time, money, and resources. And we're not just the campus, and we're not just the crisis center. We're also the Demand Project that does the prevention and prosecution.
Legislation.
Yeah, people can help with all of that. We have too much to do. So if you can't find a place to fit, it's because you don't want to fit. Then just send money. Right? So one way or the other, I know you can help.
And we're extremely frugal. I mean, everybody that does anything with us, they know that we'll take $10 and turn it into $100.
Yeah.
I mean, we're verbs. We are action focused. We are not just telling people about problems. We're in the trenches fighting every single day.
That's why I think that the Demand Project and Grindstone is a good fit, because we are committed to stretch every penny, make it happen, and we have a light footprint as far as our organization goes, but when it's time to get stuff done, I mean, you've seen our guys and our girls.
Yeah, top notch.
Yeah, they show up and they get stuff done, and so I think it's a good fit. I'm glad that we've got to meet and do this. I'm glad that we're coming back. I look forward to working with y'all in the future about some of the other stuff that we've talked about, and I think it's just awesome what you're doing. And as a father, I'm thankful to know that people like you exist, honestly, because this is, somebody's got to do this. I mean, I don't think y'all understand what it's like. I barely grasp what it's like to fight this battle. This is what they do. And so cover them in prayer, cover this place in prayer, visit thedemandproject.org, and consider supporting them, honestly, because sooner or later we will leave this place and they will still be here doing what they do. And so we're very thankful to y'all for the contributions you've made to Grindstone so we can come here and assist. But I'd like to do a handoff from us to them ongoing on this project. If the Spirit moves you, please consider supporting them, because it's really important what they do. It is not something that I could do. So bless y'all and thank y'all for doing that.
Thank you.
Cool. Shalom, y'all.